name is Artem Samoilov, and on my channel we discuss organizational, training and tactical aspects of the game called futsal. Let's go! So in this video we're gonna talk about futsal shoes. What is the way to get your ideal futsal shoes, to choose the right pair, to choose the right brand, and so on and so on. How do you do this? A lot of guys are facing this problem, especially when they're new to futsal, they just starting to play. They don't know really what shoes are the best for futsal, because shoes for futsal are completely different from the shoes for the football. And I'm talking about completely different approach of making such shoes, because the materials, things to focus on when you're producing such shoes, they are completely different, because futsal and football are two different sports. In this video I'm not gonna show you like the new shoes, new models and stuff like this. There are tons of different models, tons of different brands there on the market, and how do you choose what is the best for you? So there are three brands which are the best for me and which are most popular when you're choosing the boots for futsal. And during my years in futsal, when I still was a futsal player and played a lot, I have experience playing in different models of these three brands. I gotta say before we start actually going through each of these shoes that this video is not sponsored. It's my experience with futsal shoes. I'm gonna tell you what I like about them, what I don't like about them, and how do I choose my best ones, right? And in this video I'm gonna show you my own shoes, my old shoes, and the shoes that I'm playing in right now. I don't want you to take through the new models. I want you to see the actual result of my choice and of playing those games and how do these shoes look right now. And I'm gonna show you exactly what is good and what is bad in my opinion. So first of all, let's start with Adidas, right? So here they are. These are Adidas futsal shoes. I like the coloring pretty much, because this is I like this kind of an acid green color. This is one of my favorites. When you are choosing the boots, the color is not what is the most important, right? So a lot of guys, especially the guys who are new to futsal, they make this mistake. They go into a shop, they see the bright color, or for example a top model, and especially like Messi shoes or Cristiano Ronaldo shoes. Don't actually take this for granted that those shoes gonna be good, because the coloring and the name of the shoe is not gonna help you score goals. It's not gonna help you actually make good passes, first touches and so on. You have to buy shoes that are comfortable for you exactly. Not for me, not for that guy, but the shoes that are the best fit for you. So these Adidas shoes are pretty narrow here, pretty tight. Some guys like that. These shoes are also have the high heel, right? So you're basically, this is exactly the thing that I don't like, because you're basically a little bit like this in those shoes, which doesn't really allow you to feel the ball that good, and you know, you're not that stable. I also don't like this kind of narrowness here. The leg is pretty tight here, and for me it's a little bit harder to pass the ball or to shoot the ball. Right? For me, I like it a little bit more flat in this kind of area. Also, there is a kind of a thing that you may think that it's not important, but in my opinion it also has some effect. You see that the skin here is a little bit slippery, right? For me, I don't really like that. It doesn't really have a good control with the ball. Yeah, you can see the bumps here, right? A little bit. The purpose of them, I assume that is that to make the control a little bit better, right? But it doesn't really help. To resume about these Adidas boots is that they are pretty narrow and the heel is pretty high, and for me the balance is not very good, so I don't feel comfortable in them, because you always are running the risk of turning the leg like this, getting injured, right? So I don't really like also that the back of the boot is pretty high, so this thing is pretty high. Also the sole of the foot here is pretty strong, right? So it's not that flexible, which also doesn't give me a very good control over the ball. So if I resume with Adidas, I don't think that these kind of shoes are bad or anything. Just saying that it's not for me. This is not my choice. And in these shoes, I've played, as I said, for about 10 matches maybe, and I used them a couple of months basically, so they are in a pretty good shape. So now let's move on to the next ones, and these are Nike shoes. Here they are. I have played with them for about 3 years. I was pretty active in them, and what I like about them, they are not very narrow in the sole of the foot here. Also the sole of the foot is pretty soft, which gives you a good control over the ball. The flat sole gives you a pretty good balance. Also, if you take a look from here, from the side, it's not elevated here, so it's pretty much the same level here and there. Also the back of the foot is not that high as with Adidas, and if you take a look here, this part is pretty flat, and what I don't like about them is that this surface is pretty slippery, right? Even though there are a lot of bumps here, which kind of have to give you the good control, the good first touch when you're playing with this part of the foot, but it really doesn't, because the skin is pretty slippery, right? You can see the damage here, and there's also damage here, right? And this is exactly what is about my style of play. I like to break with this kind of, with this side, right, with the right foot, when I, for example, have to stop and then turn, so I break like this. Also, and this is also some specifics of my weight balance and so on. There is no like an extra layer of rubber here to get a good toe poke shot, which I like to do in futsal. This is for those guys who like to shoot with the upper side of the foot, and this is okay. For those guys who like to pass much, who like to control the ball, pass. Alright, so let's now move on to the shoe number 3. This is Yoma, right? So these are the shoes that I have played more with than with other shoes. I'm using them for like a 3rd year in a row already. A lot of training, matches, and so on and so on. So you can see that they don't really look good, but yet they are in a pretty good shape. If you take a look here, again, there is a damage here in this part, as the Nike had, right? And this is not about the shoe. This is about the specifics of the specific style of play that I have. Each and every player will have its own. Someone damages this part more, someone damages this part more, right? For me, it's this part and this part, right? These are my specifics. So you can maybe try and find the shoe which matches your specifics. These shoes is exactly what I needed for my specific play, because right here you can see this place has an extra skin here around, because this is the place that I was talking about that I'm breaking with, right? So I have used this for almost 3 years already, and there is no damage here. So this is very important. This means that this is ideal for me. Also, the shoe is pretty flat, right? The sole of the foot is pretty flat here too, right? So you have a pretty good stability, pretty good balance. And also the sole is pretty soft. This is probably the softest of them all, of those, if you compare those Adidas and Nikes and these kind of shoes. So this is what I like. I like the control over the ball. So if you touch the ball, you feel it with the first touch already. The sole is not elevated in the heel part here. So it's pretty on the same level from the beginning until the end, right? So this is what I like. It gives me good balance again. Right, another thing, I usually use a lot of toe pokes, right? I shoot with this part a lot, right? Not with this part, but with this. Because this shot is pretty unexpected. It's one of the specifics of futsal. You can have very good and fast shot with a toe poke. It's very unexpected and it's pretty precise. You can still be pretty precise with it. So for this purpose there is an extra layer of the rubber here, so you can see the red one, the white and red, right? You don't see this in other shoes. For example, here you can see there's also only one. Here there's one which is pretty big and another one, and this gives you a pretty good stable toe poke shot, and it's easy to do this. You don't damage your toes with this kind of a shot, and you still have a pretty good control, and you can hit it really hard with this. And this is actually one of the things that I like about Yoma the best. For me, this one and that one really solves my problems, really gives me what I need for my style of play. So whatever you choose out there, guys, whatever model or whatever brand you choose, don't forget that the most important thing is that it suits you. Because maybe your shoes are not going to be Adidas, Nike or Yoma, maybe it's going to be another model. But you have to remember about these basic principles, that it has to suit you and it has to suit your style of play. Okay, so when you go to the shop, maybe try and bring some socks with you, bring the ball maybe, and try it out like in action, in actual practice. Right? Don't forget that how the shoe looks is not the most important thing. The color is not the most important thing. I know that, for example, some time ago everybody was going with the white ones, right? And this is exactly why I chose these Nike shoes, because they were only ones that were white at that time, right? We had a lot of black Adidases. The pricing of the boots is again may vary, but don't buy the cheapest ones. You don't really have to be thinking about saving the money when you are buying shoes. The shoes are one of the most important things, so don't be afraid to invest in it. If you have any further questions about these shoes, about how to pick shoes, put those questions in comments. Also in comments tell me what is your model, what is your brand and your model, and how did you choose it. Don't forget to subscribe also for the channel, because I update every week. My subscribers get to see more content than those guys who are not subscribed. So if you're not subscribed yet, subscribe, share this video in social medias. I will appreciate that, and I'll see you guys next time. Bye bye.